Hello and welcome to round 4 of the Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting GP, held at Sydney Motorsport Park in New South Wales. This is the final round, the championship decider, the title fight. Less than 40 points separate the top 4 drivers, so the championship is still wide open and some fierce battles are set to unfold. Now before we take a look at those battles, first up, let's check out what drifting's all about. Then we'll take a tour of the track before we head into qualifying highlights. Drifting is motorsport meets extreme sport. Instead of being the first across the finish line, drivers are judged like in freestyle motocross or skateboarding. The judges outline the course and what they want to see in a driver's briefing, and then in solo qualifying, drivers are judged on their line, angle, speed and overall impact or style. Their score is then used to determine their placing in the battle tree for the tandem runs. Drivers go head-to-head, taking turns at a lead and chase run, and the chase car is judged on their proximity and emulation, while the lead car is judged on their line speed and angle and overall impact like in qualifying. Essentially, the lead car is trying to do a perfect run, while the chase car is trying to copy their run while getting as close as possible. The judges choose a winner or a rerun, and it's best 2 out of 3. It makes for fierce racing and non-stop action. The Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting GP is the country's premier drift series and where the best come to battle it out. For more information on rules and regulations, head to our website, australiandriftinggp.com. Let's jump on board with number 1 qualifier Josh Botcher to take a look at the track from the driver's perspective. Let's take a look from the outside now. Full throttle run up and throw it into that Just Car Insurance outer clipping zone, getting the tyres nice and close to the white line. It's then an inner clipping point coming into turn 1. Then the judges want to see a full throttle transition to push out wide to the KS Racing outer clipping point as you start to come up the hill. It's important to stay wide here to make sure we have close battles. There's then the Achilles radial outer clipping point as you come up over the hill, and then the judges want to see full power up over the hill to finish off the run past the I Love Drift finish line. In 5th place, championship leader Michael Rosenblatt in the Newline Oils R32. This meant he would scrape through to get a bye run, putting him directly into the top 16. Jared Klingberg had massive dramas in Friday's practice, had to rebuild the head of the SR20 powered K70, but charged through on Saturday to qualify in 4th place. 3rd place qualifier Levi Clark in the Exeter Racing S15 Sylvia, which helped him keep his championship hopes alive. 2nd place qualifier Bo Yates with his all-new 2JZ setup Toyota 86. He was on a mission at Sydney Motorsport Park as the local favourite. He qualified in 2nd place. Now let's catch up with number 1 qualifier Josh Botcher.
To come away with the 1st place in qualifying, and then to find out the points are pretty solid, like we had a good gap, felt really good. And even though, I thought I had more in the bag, so we're confident for what's up ahead.
Here is the rest of the top 10 in qualifying. Championship hopeful Nick Coulson could only manage 9th place. Rob White doing better this round, taking 7th, and Chris Salito on a charge as 6th place qualifier. Time for some top 32 highlights now. Our first pairing, Catherine May in the Viva Garage Still 80, up against local driver Sam Tabush in the high-flex Nissan R34 Skyline, who took the win. Our next pairing, championship hopeful Nick Coulson in the Achilles Radial, X-Force Performance Exhaust and High-Tech Oils-backed VE Ute, up against Chris Fromm in the now turbocharged V8 Good Ride R34 Skyline. Coulson had a dominating lead run which gave him the advantage, but then he threw his championship away with this spin coming up the hill on the chase behind Chris Fromm. Chris Fromm sailed through for the win, but Nick Coulson's championship hopes died with that spin. He was in second place in the championship coming in, still with a shot at the lead, but it's all over now for the Drift Kid. Our next pairing was Kelly Wong in the Sleeker Spare Safiro and Michael Bonney in the C&D Motorworks S15, who was absolutely bushfiring the track with that 2JZ and Hollinger-equipped S15. Those guys had to go a rerun though, as mistakes from both drivers throughout the track led to it. In the end though, it was Kelly Wong who got the win and moved into the top 16 over Michael Bonney. The next pairing was Dale Campaign and Chris Solito, GH Haulage teammates. They also had to go at it twice to determine a winner. And it was Chris Solito who had the higher qualifying score, who continued his charge and took the win and moved to the top 16. Alex Sharker, local driver in the High-Tech Oils RX-8 1JZ powered machine, had the advantage after his chase run against Jack Wittes, but on his lead run he threw it all away on his entry, just going in too deep, which gave the win to Jack Wittes from South Australia. Anthony Billick in the KS Racing S13 Sylvia and Gavin Edwards in the Newline Oils R32 Skyline gave us a very intense battle. Gavin was nice and close on the chase, and then Billick had that spin. What a close call, before he then put it lightly into the wall as well, giving Gavin Edwards the win. The next pairing, Finney O'Hare, who had gearbox troubles on practice day, who went up against Rob White, who was driving his original 350Z that he borrowed back off the new owner, but he took the win through the top 16. And then it was Chris Day and Keith Adams, West Australians, going head to head. And it was Chris Day that got the win in the all-day construction turbocharged VX Commodore. Local drivers went head-to-head, Brad Toohey and Cameron Moat, both debuting new cars, Brad Toohey in the new V8-powered Toyota 86 and Cameron Moat in the 1JZ-powered S15, and he took the win to go through to the top 32. Matt Russell had mechanical issues in the first run and couldn't complete it, so that meant that Jack Callow went straight through for the win in their top 32 battle in the Tintercar Gawler VY Ute. Don't go anywhere, as after the break we head into full coverage of the top 16 tandem battle eliminations.
At Just Car Insurance, we're into imported, high performance and modified cars. So if it's not just a car and you want comprehensive insurance that offers easy pay by the month premiums, call Just Car Insurance on 13 13 26 or buy a new policy online and save $50.
Welcome back to round 4 of the Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting GP. It's the final round and the top 32 has already turned the championship on its head. Before we go into the top 16, let's catch up with the championship leader, who is still well and truly in the hunt.
You've got a little bit to lose, you know, because everyone's looking at you, giving you a bit of a hard time, you know, like you're the full target for the weekend, so. But, you know, in my own head, I'm just here, you know, I just got to do what I've got to do. Keep calm, because that's when you make mistakes and do stuff, like silly things, so. Yeah, I just keep focused and just try and do what I've been doing all year. Need a little bit more power. We seem to be, you know, well, always whinging that I don't have enough power, struggling a little bit. So we put some new Higgins heads on the car with a cam package, new tune on E85 just to give it a little bit more ponies, a little bit more torque, just so try and make a bit more user friendly for what I'm doing. The car felt amazing. Like straight out of the box, we went out. First couple of laps, I was a bit hesitant, listening to every little noise, but. The torque and the power we got now is right where we need it, in the sweet spot, and helped making my job a lot easier. Last round it worked out really well, qualified really badly, but this round I wanted to qualify pole or definitely in the top 5 to try and get a bye run through. Luckily we put a couple of good laps together, we ended up 5th, so it's a bit weird, you know, like I was sitting right on the fence, like front row seats, and Nick's come up and I thought he had it in the bag, you know, he was looking really good, and then he just made a little bit of a mistake and spun out right in front of us. And, you know, like inside you're really excited and happy, you know, like it's a good thing for us, but at the same time you're like a bit, you know, because he's a good guy and, you know, it's not the way you want to win, but, you know, so it's mixed emotions, but yeah, Levi is the next contender. If he wins, I think top 4. and we're safe by a couple of points. So that's the goal. Just get through the top 4 and then we might be able to have a bit of a relax and go out and have some fun, you know?
It's time to head into the top 16 tandem battle eliminations now. Check out the Newline Oils top 16 battle tree. Some pretty intense lineups already. Our first one is Josh Botcher in the GT Radial S15. Number 1 qualifier up against Jackson Callow from South Australia. Botcher throws it in. Another great entry from JB. Callow doing everything he can to keep up with that monster V8 powered machine. He's a little bit shallower on the angle and the line to try and keep pace, but Josh Botcher is just laying down another dominant lead run to take the advantage as they switch it around now. Jackson Callow will lead in the Tintercar Gawler VY, throws it in. Tidy entry, not as much angle as JB had, but JB now is just able to put the foot down, catch up and get some great proximity right up on the door of Jackson Callow. This is exactly what the judges want to see, applying pressure after every switch to get nice and close.
Great to get the win there. Yeah, looking forward to the top 8 and yeah, the GT Radals are plenty of grip today and the car's running beautifully. We can't wait.
Our next pairing, Brent Gordon from WA in the PSA Ski Boats S15 up against Chris Fromm in the Good Ride R34 Skyline, who gave us that big upset in the top 32, defeating Nick Coulson. Both V8 powered machines. Gordon supercharged, Fromm is turbocharged. But Brent Gordon laying down a very solid lead run. Fromm was a bit messy on the first part of the track. He's a bit shallow now, trying to keep pace as they go across the I Love Drift finish line. Switch it around now. Chris Fromm will lead in the Good Ride R34 Skyline, throws it in, a little bit shallow and slow, winding on the angle into that first corner. Brent Gordon, though, is able to keep pace. He now dives in, going out to that KS Racing outer clipping zone and applying good pressure now as they go up the hill. Great emulation from Brent Gordon. He will take the win.
Yeah, that was a real good battle. Felt like it was really close between the both of us. The PSA Ski Boats S15's holding up really well. The Westlake tyres are gripping up great, and yeah, everything just seems to be working great.
Next up, Jared Klingberg in the Barossa Spot On Fishing K70 up against local driver Sam Tabush in his first ADGP round for this season in the High Flex Hose Services R34. Klingberg has done well at this track before. He throws it in big for a good entry. Tabush is now closing in. Klingberg right on that outer clip, but it sounds like his car's having a few issues, starting to break down. And he straightens up out of the drift, and Sam Tabush also backs out of it to avoid contact, which obviously gives Sam Tabush the 10-0 advantage coming to this second run. Klingberg's car is struggling though, some massive issues there with that SR20, and Sam Tabush looks like he's just going to have a nice clean lead run, and he will sail through for the win here in the top 16 at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Well, Jared Klingberg, tough driver, tough competitor. He went in with car trouble, so apart from that, I'm feeling confident. Yeah, see how we go.
Championship leader Michael Rosenblatt now in the Newline Oils R32 Skyline. He's up against Kelly Wong in the Sleeker Spares Zafiro. He will lead first as number 5 qualifier. A little bit of pressure off his shoulders with Nick Coulson out already, but he still needs to do well if he wants to defeat Levi Clark in the championship race. He's putting down a very solid lead run. Kelly Wong doing everything she can to keep up, simply not able to do so. Rosenblatt has the advantage now coming into this second run. Kelly Wong leads. She's pretty tidy on her entry, but Rosenblatt is just able to get great proximity with ease as he hunts down Kelly Wong up the hill in that Newline Oils Commodore Records backed R32. Kelly Wong drops a bit of dirt and Mick goes through.
Yeah, that was a really good run. It's nice and close with Kelly then. You know, it's a pretty crucial point in the championship coming down the last round, so really need to make these next couple of battles really work for us and come out with a win. So fingers crossed, and big shout out to the Commodore Records and Newline Oils.
She's sounding great now. For less friction, change your engine oil to Newlon.
Welcome back to the final round of the 2014-15 season, Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting GP. It's time to continue the top 16 tandem battle eliminations. Teammates going head-to-head once again in the top 16. Jack Widdis in the R31 Skyline, Chris Toledo in the R33, both from South Australia in the GH Haulage team. Toledo leads as the higher qualifier, throws it in, a little bit slow winding on the angle, but is right on the clips where he needs to be. Widdis pushing up on the inside, nice and aggressive. More angle there from Toledo, but Widdis has got great proximity as they come up the hill now. Toledo blazing tyres over the I Love Drift finish line. Judges saying, bit tough to call, no major advantage each way. Let's see what happens when they switch it around now. Widdis, he throws it in. Toledo dives in on him coming into that KS Racing outer clip on the first corner. Very close, but a little bit too close and causes contact. Let's go to the Achilles radial replay now to see what happened in that battle. Toledo getting closer and closer on that first clip, switches now to the KS Racing outer clip, pushes nice and aggressive on Widdis, but too close, makes contact, which straightens up Widdis, so he gets the win.
Chris and I have done a few runs, so we're both pushing really hard and very happy to get the win. GH Haulage R31 Skyline's handling great, and hopefully we can go on through for the win.
Our next pairing, Gavin Edwards, local driver in the Newlon Oils R32 Skyline, up against Levi Clark in the Exeter Racing S15, both V8 powered Nissans. Levi throws it in. Gavin Edwards is right there though. Great chase run from Edwards so far. Pushes out wide to that KS Racing outer clip. And Gavin Edwards is putting down a pretty solid chase run. Levi Clark has no mistakes on the lead. He's only just starting to get a gap now as they come up over the hill. Edwards, a little bit slow there on his run-up. He must have missed a gear or had some type of mechanical issue. He's balked Levi Clark on the run-up a little bit, which the judges have marked down Edwards pretty severely. He lost a lot of speed there going to that KS Racing outer clip. And things are just starting to tidy up now as they come up over the hill, and Levi Clark pushes up nice and close across the I Love Drift finish line. Let's go to the Achilles radial replay now and see what happened. Well, you can see here on the run-up, Levi Clark goes to put the hammer down and get a big run-up, but Gavin Edwards isn't going anywhere. Probably missed a gear, and that balked Levi Clark's entry and messed up a lot of his run, and that means he will get the win.
Just went up against Gavin Edwards for our top 16 battle. Looks like he might have missed the gear on the entry. So yeah, we've come away with the win and straight on to top 8 now. Should be good.
Our next pairing, Rob White, reigning Australian champion, back in his original 350Z, which he had to borrow off the new owner. So he had a ride for this weekend with his NASCAR-powered Z not ready. He throws it in. He's a bit shallow on the angle. Day throws in too much angle, though, which means he lost a lot of ground there, and now he's playing catch-up for the rest of the run. Rob White, though, putting down a clean, solid lead run, and he will have the advantage after that run. After that mistake from Chris Day throwing it in. Day much more aggressive on his entry. Rob White, though, is keeping it very clean and tidy on the chase, which is up on the inside now as they go to that KS Racing outer clip. And Rob White is just doing it cleaner and better on the chase. He will get the win.
Yeah, just went against my mate Chris Day in the top 16 in the Achilles Modal 350Z. It's going really good. These Achilles are working really well. The track's starting to grip up and they're really starting to come out of their shell and give us a real good drive up the hill. So we've got an advantage over Chris and we just got the win, I think.
Our final pairing in the top 16 now, Bo Yates in the Wins Nitto Toyota 86 up against Cameron Moat in the BT Tipper Hire S15. These guys have already gone at it. This is the rerun. Bo Yates will lead as the higher qualifier, throws it in. Great entry from Bo Yates. Big speed, nice and early, but Camo, he is right there. Nice and aggressive on his chase, tiny bit shallow on the angle in a couple of spots, but great proximity from Cameron Moat now as he's nice and aggressive. They push up over the hill. He lacked a little bit of angle there and lost a bit of ground on the transition, but it was a very aggressive chase and splitting hairs to look for errors. Great entry from Camo, but he does drop a wheel over the white line and then gets right out wide and misses that inner clip. Big mistake from Cameron Moat on his lead run. But Bo Yates is right there for a nice, aggressive chase as well as they come up the hill now to that Achilles radial outer clip and then across the I Love Drift finish line. Let's go to the Achilles radial replay now for another look. The battle was lost for Cameron Moat right here as he puts a wheel over on the Just Car Insurance entry and then misses the first inner clipping point on the first corner. And then from there, Bo Yates was able to finish a dominating chase run and he gets the win and goes through to the top 8.
All right, so that's the top 16 out of the way. I mean, I had a hard competitor in Cameron Moat. We do a lot of driving together in our local rounds, so it's good to get one up on him because he's a pretty fierce competitor and it's his first time in ADGP. But for everyone on board, it's fantastic. You know, Wynn's helping me out this year. The Nitto tyres are working fantastic. The boys from Hypertune have done a fantastic job on this car. You know, giving me this new 2JZ package. It's got plenty of power and I'm having a good time out there.
Drifting is one of the most exciting motorsports on the planet, but requires a totally different driving style to any other. How do you learn this driving style? Well, you go to school. Drift School. Drift School Australia is the country's premier and original drift school, and they have packages to suit all driving abilities and budgets, with drift thrill rides starting from $99 all the way through to the Masterclass, where you get behind the wheel of a fully set up drift car and under the tuition of qualified instructors, learn the basic techniques of drifting.
So we're the original drift school in Australia, operating for over 7 years. Back then it was 2 cars. We had the 180SX and the 200SX. I mean, we had the one product. It was humble beginnings. Not only are we catering for Sydney, but we've just done a deal with Melbourne and we're talking to another track on the west side as well.
Drift School Australia also offers one-on-one advanced tuition, so you can go from having a little fun to setting up and driving your own drift car.
So I don't only choose my instructors for how good they drive out on the track, but how good they can convey the message while they're out in their passenger seat showing you how to drift. So at the school we run all Nissan Turbos at the moment, obviously because they're the easiest cars to set up. We stick with the turbo cars because that's the full drift experience. So we've got 9 cars on the track at the moment and we've got another 3 in the build.
For more information, head to the website driftschoolaustralia.com.au. There is information on all of the packages so you can book what's right for you and your budget.